Hello, hello, and welcome to today's Light Guardian Talk, LG Talk. I am Light Guardian Goddess Iman coming to you. And before we get into the talk today, let's take a breath together, okay? Because you've had whatever life and day you've had up until this moment. But today, right now, I'm calling for your presence. So inhale deep, exhale slow. Allowing anything from the day to melt away. Inhale again. Exhale slow. And I want you to set the intention to be present in this now. Whether you're listening live, on the replay, in the future, coming back to it, set the intention to be present for your focus, to cut out the distractions, and open yourself to receive the truth. So today's LG talk is a couple of things. One, synchronistic. I channel what my LG talks, the topic is going to be months in advance. And it just so happened that the time wherein I'm doing this live, this same week, earlier this week, the channeled wisdom circle that the Divine Mother Monica Bay did is on a similar topic. So if you've already tapped into that, this is going to drive it home for you a little more, okay? But also with that, it's showing the importance of the now. The fact that this requires your attention, your focus, and your action. So this talk today is a call to action, call to application, and a call to embodiment. The message is this: stand in your divinity, activate your divine remembrance, come back to the present, and stand. No matter what happens in your life, no matter what you've come from, what you've experienced, what you've been through recently, you are power. You are power itself. And in knowing that, in recognizing it, your life experiences may have brainwashed that fact into blind spots. It may have turned down the sensitivity of your awareness in your understanding of that. It may have taken that out of coherence with your embodiment, but it is truth. You are power. Now, one of the things that takes you out of the understanding and the embodiment that you are power is trying to exist in anything other than the present. All that you have is now, this moment, this breath, each beat of your heart. All you have is this moment. So again, I say it doesn't matter what came before. What are you going to do now? How are you going to show up in your present now? How are you going to make decisions and move with intention in your now present moment? So with this talk today being about action, application, and embodiment, decide now, in this moment, to reclaim your divinity, to activate and act on your power to decide, not to be chained and caged by what came before, by the stories that you allowed to loop on replay, but deciding in this moment to be present. Take another deep breath if you need to. With that presence, it's a call to reclaim your divinity, reclaim your authority, and reclaim the authorship over your life, to pen the next stages of your journey, to design that, to curate that, to choose it actively, and take the actions to follow through on that. Power is innate, but in this world, in this reality, owning it, claiming it, and using it is your choice. The call today is to stand in that divinity, to apply that power, and get out of the loops of trying to convince yourself that it's not there, and recognizing that that is the programming. Remember, I said brainwashed into disbelief of that fact, but it's still a fact. If you go outside and decide the sky is turquoise, fuchsia, black, gray, you can decide that, but it might still be blue right there at that moment. That's your decision. That's your perception. So let's get into the divinity session that we're focused on today. And we're going to flow a little bit as it comes and as we channel this thing through. So today we are focused on primarily 2 divinity sessions. These 2 divinity sessions and passages from the Book of Rasheeda were written on the same day, which is why we're focusing on these 2. The first one is from Divinity Session 60. Time is but a naught library of falsehoods. Be it not that you have come under such a restriction. You are beyond this constraint. Unveil the mystery of this physical plane to see its true nature. Reality is what you make it. Let it be the center of your creation. Let it be you. Let it be yours. And we're going to stop with this one before we get into the next one. In my preparation for this LG talk, I went back and reviewed these specific divinity sessions. And interestingly enough, the first quote and phrase that the Divine Mother says in this particular divinity session is as follows. Anything that exists within this world, you have allowed it to exist. Any reality that you claim, you allow. Any reality that you reject, you disintegrate. That's taken us back to the fact that it is a decision to stand in your power, to embody it, to apply it. It's a decision. You can decide to allow the illusions of powerlessness or the pattern of accepted powerlessness to exist, or you can accept that your power is in that power to choose and power to decide how you express what you allow in your life. And with this talk today, we are talking about time's anchor. The fact that time, those falsehoods, those stories of who you are, how you have to be based on who you've had to become to survive the situations and circumstances that you have been through, those stories. Those stories can become the anchors that hold you down or hold you back from moving forward, from rising in the divine remembrance that you're already ascended, that you just have to shed those illusions and return to the present to embody it. Make that decision to embody it. So with that anchor of time, recognizing, yes, of course, it does affect our human experience here. It's a big part of it. Yes, and unbinding your mind from time. Presence is freedom, pure and simple. You can be going through any situation in the world. If you're allowing that situation, that the energy of that, what it's evoking from you, to control your mind into being anxious about the future or being depressed about a past that no longer exists, then it can control you. Again, if you allow it. But when we return back to the present, even if that is with another deep breath, even if that is with a simple pause to observe, to be the eye in the forest, to simply see without judging, without internalizing, without trying to change all that is. And with me bringing that up specifically in this moment, I'm referencing changing your reaction to your human experience. There is a balance between honoring what comes up, how you navigate this, and also recognizing that you have the power to decide what comes next without getting caught up in the loops of shame and self-deprecation and fear and all these other things about how you were before, what you did before, what you experienced before. But taking this moment, taking this breath, using this heartbeat to move to a new rhythm. Because we're talking about rhythm right now, I'm going to hop into interrupting patterns. So there are habits that we build, some of them useful, some of them more maladaptive, and things that we want to change that are not necessarily good for us, things that take you out of that power, right? Those triggers may come up when you're at the point in your journey when those triggers are still present, when those shadows, those unfulfilled needs are still going unmet. Those triggers can come up. So what do you do in that moment? You can either allow that loop, allow that cycle to play out fully how it always does, responding how you always do or how you always have, or you interrupt the pattern by returning to the present moment, coming back to the now, and deciding to do something different. Honoring what your human may be experiencing in that moment of being triggered, of having something come up, and choosing to take action to shift out of that, to reclaim the reins over yourself, over your energy system in that moment, over your experience, and stop the loop. Do something different. If the pattern is to pull away and wallow in the hurt, the pain, the things that's going on in the world that's creating stress and fear, what's going to take you out of that pattern, out of that loop? What's going to interrupt it? Maybe you have to do something that brings you joy in that moment. And yes, we have comments about being intentional. Standing in your divinity is an intentional act. It's embodiment. Until that becomes the habit and the pattern, it's intentional every time. Because you've lived a lifetime, you're in this illusory reality where it's constructed for illusions, for veils, for you to discover your power. We can look at it as something negative, or we can look at it as this. This place is designed for you to discover your power, to remember your power. And isn't that more beautiful than thinking this is here to take it away from you? No. It's for you to remember how powerful you are. It's like watching a movie and you keep getting to the best part. That anticipation builds because you recognize there's a threshold that you're about to cross. That anticipation, that excitement grows in you because you recognize this may be a difficult experience, but ooh, the power I'm cultivating here, the next level of divinity, of remembrance that I'm about to stand in, ooh, oh, I look forward to that. It's a mindset shift. So I mentioned crossing the threshold of the throne, or crossing the threshold, right? The phrase crossing the threshold of the throne comes from one of the sessions within the Pathways course, the Pathways to Divine Consciousness and Fulfillment. And that crossing of the threshold, it comes after that entire course is taking you on a journey to rise in consciousness, to rise in your awareness, your divinity, the embodiment of that, to live a life of fulfillment. So on that journey that it takes us on, prior to getting to that particular session where we're focused on crossing that threshold of the throne, we have to talk about the fears that come up when you're doing something new, the fears that come up when there's chaos happening in the world and it is affecting your daily life, or it's affecting the daily life of people that you love. Because fear in the human experience, again, there's a lot of intricacies and multifaceted expression when it comes to this human experience. That fear, that energy is real. Its control over you is not. I'm gonna run that back one more time to make sure everybody catch it. The energy of fear is real. However, its control over you is not. Again, I say you are power. If you are power, what fear don't have nothing on you? So, on that journey within the Pathways course, there's a period of time where we're focused on fear and fear's architecture. Because again, that energy is real. That part of the human experience is real. That is something to overcome, to transcend from. That is an opportunity for you to remember your power, to apply your power. So we start there. And then we get to the portion where we're talking about crossing the threshold of the throne, wherein we experience these different experiences in our lives where we are being called to level up, simply put. We are being called to embody more of that power, called to allow your light to shine more, to live out loud more, all of these different things. And that fear energy, if allowed, but we don't do that here at Mystic Temple, let's make it clear. If allowed, that fear energy can present itself as an obstacle, a barrier, interference to you crossing that threshold to sit on your throne. In those moments, yes, recognize the energy that may be coming up. And also recognize you are power itself, so you can overcome any of that. But you have to be present in that moment with yourself. Be honest with yourself about what it is that you're feeling, what's coming up, how it's affecting you, your mind, your body, your energy system, which is the vessel. How is it affecting all of those things in that moment? And then decide what you're going to do about it. Because we're not going to let fear keep you from your becoming. We're not going to let fear keep you from the remembrance of your divinity, the embodiment of it, the expansion into it, and the stabilizing of that. There can be life experiences, and we're going to talk about the spiral key moments now. There can be life experiences that are similar to something you've already gone through. But it's here in your life at this moment for a new reason. For you to break through, to interrupt that pattern, to gain a new nuanced lesson around those themes, and step into the next level of your power, to stand in this version of you fully. And if you struggle with fear, come back to the present. Build the courage. Jumping back to the passage that we're talking about today. I'm going to read the whole thing and then I'm going to highlight something. Time is but a naught library of falsehoods. Be it not that you have come under such a restriction. You are beyond this constraint. Unveil the mystery of this physical plane to see its true nature. Reality is what you make it. Let it be the center of your creation. Let it be you. Let it be of you. Let it be yours. So in those moments when that fear does come up, because again, that's a real aspect of the human experience, call in courage. Reality is what you make it. If you are power itself, yeah, fear might show up at the door, but start to question. And when we look at this as a video game or we look at it as a show, we look at it as a superhero movie, however you want to break it down for yourself, whatever works, apply it. Okay. If fear comes up, what's the opposite of that? Courage. Okay. So we call in some courage. Yeah, there may be fear. Build, standing in your divinity, leveling up, crossing the threshold of the throne. These things require your active participation. Life requires your active participation. So in those moments, decide to call in the remembrance of your power. It's already there. You might have forgot. It's okay. Forgetfulness is a part of the game here. Return back to that. If you know that you're someone who has the pattern of fear, allowing fear to interfere, funny, allowing fear to interfere with your experience, this application, again, I said today is a call to action, a call to application, a call to embodiment every single day. You need to be calling in that courage, embodying that courage. Think about who, however you want to break it down, could be a spirit animal, could be a person that you know personally, could be a superhero, could be different deities, whatever works for you, let it ride, let it fly, okay? What to you represents full courage, overflowing, conviction, authority? What represents that to you? Embody that. Call that energy in. Call that energy out of you, because we have everything that we need inside. So it's not about everything outside of you. It's about recognizing. And I want you to think about it like this, since I mentioned the game. You have all the cheat codes inside. So yeah, fear might come knocking. Okay, well, let me enter this cheat code in for courage. Let me call that out of myself. Let me face this thing head on. So then I build the muscle. Okay, yeah, that little level 3 fear, I got that. That's nothing. Cross the threshold of that throne. Boom. We're done with that. Okay, all right. Oh, wait, we're still in the game, right? So now level 3 fear is coming. Level 4 fear is coming. Okay, well, let me turn it up a notch. Let me bring in more of this courage. Let me, in my days, practice coming back to the present moment and recognizing there is peace in the present. I'm going to run that one back one more time. Recognizing there is peace in the present. A lot of the times, unless there is a physical threat in your environment, in your present moment, coming at you, that fear has to do with some time that you're not yet existing in, or some time from your past. And the beginning of that divinity session said, time is but a naught library of falsehoods, AKA, these are stories. This is the fiction, the fairy tales. Come back to the present. And choose to see the truth. Choose to recognize the illusion that that fear can have power over you. Again, I say, the energy, yeah, that's a part of this reality, but its power over you, that's the illusion. You have to choose to see the truth in that. And I'm not saying that it's easy, right? You have to interrupt those patterns. If there's been momentum built over the years of accepting that, of having your environment, your life circumstances, et cetera, and so on, convince you that that fear has power over you, or these situations, these circumstances, these people, places, things have power over you, it's momentum you got to stop. Which is why I said every day, bring in that courage, return to the present, practice that embodiment. Now, I come from the background of theater, which is different from film, right? In the sense that there are rehearsals. There's a usually long rehearsal process to get that particular character, that particular embodiment so grounded and rooted and known that when it's time to stand in it, when it's time to shine that light on the stage, and all the world's a stage, honey, so flow with me. When it's time to shine your light, to stand in that particular embodiment, that character, this is a whole video game, so think of it in terms of character. That character, it's already been practiced. So by the time that opening night comes, you just live in it. So yes, I'm saying to stand in your divinity, but it's about living in your divinity. Again, every day. Not waiting for that quote unquote dramatic moment, that crisis moment to claim your power. Do that every day, all throughout the day. In big ways, in little ways, in whatever ways is going to help you keep moving forward and keep standing in it. There are, 24 hours in a day, broken down to however many minutes in the day, broken down to however many seconds, however many breaths, however many heartbeats in a day, all of those opportunities for you to be present, to decide, to embody, to remember, to evoke your power and stand in that, own that, and live in it. Yeah, fear might come knocking, okay? When you've made your power a active decision, when you've made the commitment to being powerful, when you've made that commitment, that's a lifelong commitment right there. Because all these things want to tell you that you're not, right? They're still a part of the game. It's still going to be there. But placing your devotion in owning your power and standing in it and reactivating it and remembering it. And when I say remember at this moment, I'm talking about the active application. How do we usually remember something? You might have to have a couple post-it notes. You might need to set an alarm for it. You might have to tell somebody, hey, can you remind me of this on Thursday? Right? You put something in place. You take some type of action to remember something. So with that remembrance, with choosing to see the truth, with deciding, cutting off all other options, the only option is your power. So when you cut off all other options and make that commitment, decide to be devoted to your power, that's every day. That's, oh, dang, I forgot to do that yesterday. You just thought about it, do it. When you take the next breath, breathe in confidence. Exhale the fear to be recycled into the universe. And when you take the next breath, inhale that devotion to yourself, to your well-being. and exhale the distractions and the illusions and give that back to the universe to be recycled. You decide how you live your life. And I'm going to jump to a personal experience and part of my story that was one of those, oh, you decide moments. So this was some years ago. I had experienced a work injury and was temporarily disabled for a couple of months, dealing with the shift from what was my physical capabilities of what I could do, shifting from associating my worth, my power, my beingness with what my body could do at that time because of my specific life situation and circumstances, but associating my worth with productivity, what my body could do, how I could serve, da da da, which a lot of people experience, right? Shifting from that into not being able to walk, into struggling to make it to the bathroom and make it back, and knowing I have to put all of my energy into just serving this basic need, this basic function. And then after that, I have nothing else to give. So now I can't move. Right. Yes, that was a difficult time. Yes, honey, fear moved in at that point. Right. And I remember this day because I'm somebody that's very active. I bike, I hike, I'm out in the sun, I do all the things. Right. So to go from that to not having any of those things be a part of my life because I was physically unable to at the time, very depressing time in life. And I remember this day so vividly. I was laying in bed at the time, unable to move, looking out of the window, looking at the sun, and just wanting to be outside, just wishing I had enough in me to go out to my balcony, right? And I remember this moment because up until that point, it had already been a couple months, right? Experiencing life like this, experiencing the self-deprecation, some of the self-hate that was coming up, the shame around not being able to move like I used to, not being able to do the things that I used to, being out of work at the time. All of these things knocked me back down to basic fulfillment. And I remember looking out of this window and thinking, what if the rest of my life is like this? Do I want to continue living it how I have been living it? Do I want to continue every day going through this experience with my body and feeling shame around it, feeling hate around it, and putting that out, feeling sad about it, feeling all of these things? Do I want that to be the rest of my life? Because at that point, I didn't know if the body was going to heal, right? I just knew the experience that I was in, that tunnel vision of time, and the fear that came up, that depression from not being able to do what I used to do, the fear and the anxiety of not knowing what's to come. I questioned, how do I want the rest of my life to be? If this is my body now for the rest of my life, how am I going to live it? I like to say awareness is the first step, but it all starts with the question, do I want this to continue? Yes or no? And in that moment, I decided no. If this is my body and this disability is something that I just live with for the rest of my life, I'm choosing joy. Yes, there may be physical pain that I have to move through, but honey, I'm going to dance through it. I'm going to shimmy through it. I might have to through the pain, but I'm going to choose joy. And I didn't have the language at the time to recognize that was me standing in my divinity when I was physically unable to stand. Stay with me, y'all. Because standing in your divinity is not just about the physical. It's standing in the divinity in your mind, in your energy, all of that. There are no limitations. But recognizing that even if you are experiencing what may feel like the lowest point of your life, which may be the lowest point of your life up to that moment, you decide how you navigate through any of it. And it starts with that question, do I want things to continue as they are, yes or no? And then the decision, cutting off all other options, at that point, I decided, oh no, I'm not living my life like this. I'm too joyous to live my life like this. Okay, there might be pain. We might not be able to move how we used to move. Okay, well, let me slow it down. Changing the perspective. And I'm going to break it down for you. Changing the perspective. Okay, I can't move and walk fast like I used to. All right, I'm going to walk slow. This is the regal queen entering the space. And who's rushing her? The mindset shifts. The ways that you can use your power, because you are power itself and everything stems from your mind. All of this is perception. So how you decide to think, how you decide to move, how you decide to express and be in this world creates your reality. Let me jump back to the quote that the Divine Mother Monica Bay said at the beginning of Divinity Session 60. Anything that exists in this world, you have allowed it to exist. Any reality that you claim, you allow. Any reality that you reject, you disintegrate. So in that story that I gave, I rejected the reality where my life would be miserable because of some physical circumstance. I rejected that. I said, no, baby, we're not doing that. I'm choosing joy. But that time, that tunnel of time, that anchor of time can keep you in place if you allow it. So whatever it is that you're going through, experiencing in your life right now, because the way that this game is set up, there is some suffering that's included. It doesn't have to be excessive, right? If you listen to your intuition, you apply the wisdom given, you can limit that, but that is a part of the game. So I want you to think for yourself, where in your life, what aspect of your life is calling for you to stand in your divinity more, with more commitment, more consistency, more focused attention? What aspect of your life is calling for you to stand in your divinity? It might be how you end your night. How are you closing out the day? It might be how you show up in with family. It might be what's going on with personal relationships, in your career, in how you experience yourself in the mirror. Where in your life is calling for you to stand in your divinity more, to live in your divinity more? And are there falsehoods, stories about who you were before, who you had to be, who people expect you to be, that's holding you back from standing in your divinity, from crossing the threshold of the throne, from leveling up to the next level of remembrance, application, and embodiment of your power? Ask yourself that. And I'm going to sip my tea while you do. So I mentioned choosing to see the truth. In choosing to see the truth, it's seeing how your experiences are actively affecting you, seeing what direction your soul is being called in, seeing who's been driving, who's been steering this ship. Is it the ego or is it the soul, right? Seeing the truth of all of that, right? This is a quick mention of strategy. You need to know what's going on the playing field to be able to make the best move. So observing those things, seeing the truth, not getting caught up in the quiet shame that can stop you from acknowledging what's real in the moment. Jumping back to my story. If I wanted to if I wanted to ignore the truth of what I was experiencing at the time, how I was feeling, all of those things, I probably wouldn't have asked myself that question. Did I want this to continue? Yes or no? I had to be honest about what was there to see the truth, to decide to, because awareness is the first step, right? That's awareness of the truth, awareness of what is. And then deciding, how am I going to move going forward? So with choosing to see the truth, I'm jumping to the specific part in this passage of reality is what you make it. Let it be the center of your creation. Let it be you. Let it be of you. Let it be yours. This is a call for you to reclaim ownership over your life, over your mind, over your body, over your energy system, over your life path as a whole. Reclaiming ownership over that, recognizing if you got another heartbeat right there, if you have breath in your body, it doesn't matter how old you are, how young you are, what country, continent you're from, you are still power itself. And with this breath, with this heartbeat, you can choose, you can decide, and I hope you decide to own that, to stand in it, to stop looking at the things you've been through and the things that has happened to you, hardships, good ships, whatever has happened. Stop looking at that as the anchor. Stop allowing it to be the anchors and turn it all into fuel. Okay, you went through this thing when you were a child. All right, let's put that in the fuel tank, transmute it. Oh, dang, that was a really bad breakup you went through. Throw it in the fuel tank, transmute it. And allow these things to keep pushing you forward in truth, in returning back to the present and recognizing, ooh, there's some anxiety popping up. Okay, that is the experience right now. Question, okay, what tools do I have to deal with this? Breath is always there for you. But what tools do I have to deal with this? I have some metaphysical tools. I have a mind knife. I can rip that thing out. I can use the black smoke exercise and exhale it out. I can allow this to move through me, recognizing that I am not anxiety itself. I am simply in this human experience, experiencing anxiety, but it is not me. Return back to the present and decide, okay, I'm going to let this flow. It's a part of the experience. Okay, cool. Breathe through it, work through it, through it if you need to. And then decide how you want to be, how you want to move. You can judge that. Or you just like, okay, that was part of the experience. It's done. Glad it's gone. Now I know I have these tools because I've been with Mystic Temple and Mystic University for some time now. Let me upgrade this protection. Let me upgrade my body and my vessel so I can hold more of the spiritual energy that I have and it doesn't feel overwhelming. Whatever it is, again, this talk today is about application and embodiment. So if you've been here for a while or if this is your first time here, apply what you're given. Because that's a part of the remembrance, right? You have to apply it. You have to do something. And with me talking about that, it's a talk about integration. I know a lot of people say integration in the spiritual world, and sometimes we don't get no definition for that. We're just like, okay, I guess I have to integrate. What the heck is that? With integration, simply put, make it a part of your life. You have this knowledge that was given, these new tools that was given. Okay, how can you use it? Start using it. Integrate it. Make it a part of your life, a part of your expression, a part of your beingness. That's the active participation. So you know you have these proclivities, these patterns, right? Okay, that's what exists. That's a part of the present, right? What am I going to do about it? Okay, let me actively participate. Pattern interruption. I'm going to do something different here. Pattern interruption. I'm going to use this tool here. Pattern interruption. Until you shift that momentum, you start to steer it in the direction that always returns back to your divinity, that always returns back to that embodiment through the actions that you take. And you can also rest in your divinity. Let me say that. Because I always got to make sure that my workaholics, of all forms, my spiritual workaholics, my career workaholics, etc., don't burn yourself out. You can also intentionally rest in your divinity. That too is an action, right? That too is being intentional. If you are not guided, and you may be at a point in your journey where you're building up that discernment and that trust in your intuition, right? That's cool. But if you are not guided, soul guided, okay, to be in a state of action, question, should I be resting in my divinity right now? Which is why I wanted to reframe that standing in your divinity into living in your divinity. You may need to just rest in your divinity and recognize how much you've grown so far. Recognize the last threshold of the throne you've crossed. You may need to take this moment to look at your track record and see how you are becoming more intentional, how you are increasing your devotion to yourself, how you have been remaining committed to yourself and to your well-being. You may need to rest in your divinity and see that, because you might be coming from a pattern of not seeing how well you're doing, of ignoring what you're doing, of not recognizing the value and the worth, one, in your experience, two, in how you're navigating it, and three, in your being that eye in the forest, being able to see it all. You might need to rest in your divinity. That might activate your divine remembrance. But you have to go within for that. All of the different life experiences that we could have, I can't break it all down for you now. You have to actively participate, right? So, with all of this that we're giving, I'm giving, the divine collective consciousness, the cosmic collective consciousness is giving, the divine mother is giving, the other light guardians are giving. With all of this, life, divinity, consciousness requires your active participation. That active participation is a part of claiming and owning your divine power, the truth that you are power itself, standing, embodying, living in that authority. It requires your active participation. So we went a little out of order, but I told you we're going to flow today. So I want to make sure I also hit this, which was from Divinity Session 65. Again, these two, Divinity Session 60 and Divinity Session 65, were written on the same day, but just broken up into two different Divinity Sessions. So it continues. See unto me the time of which you need to become aware. It is and has always been within you. The power of the essence of nature. Here, now, come. Be not the mention of the past, be the embodiment of the present. And in that divinity session, there was a challenge that was given to Make it an active intention to speak from the present. No more of that, oh, I've always been like this. That's being mentioned of the past. Who are you deciding to be now? How are you deciding to show up now? How are you deciding to embrace, stand in, and embody and live in your divinity? Now, being the embodiment of the present. So I'm going to give y'all that challenge again. To not speak of the past, but only speak of the present. Challenge yourself to do that, and challenge yourself to do that so you can become aware of how much you're talking about the past, of how much you're thinking about the past, of how much that illusion of time, the falsehoods, those stories are taking you out of the present. So you can be aware. So you can be like, oh, wait a minute, pattern interrupt. Let me choose something different. Let me take this deep breath, inhaling the present moment and exhaling to release all anxieties, giving that back to the universe to be recycled. Be the embodiment of the present, because the present, that's where freedom is. That's where peace lives. That's where your divinity lives. So live in your divinity. Walk in your divinity. Rest in your divinity. You are power itself. So be devoted to you. Be devoted to your power. And I mentioned at the beginning, this entire talk is a call to action, a call to application, and a call to embodiment. So I need you to integrate this. Make this message a part of your life, of embodying, living in your divinity in the present. You can build for the future, yes, but live in the present. So for everyone that has tuned in this far, myself included, okay, invest 11 minutes into yourself. Cut out the distractions. Turn off the phone if you need to. Airplane mode it, okay? You got to put on a show for the little one so you get these 11 minutes. Do what you have to do. But invest 11 minutes into yourself. And I want you to go back to Divinity Session number 66. It was the guided meditation to shatter the chains of your past. Invest those 11 minutes into yourself and take that guided meditation. Because the past, those falsehoods, those stories can be anchors that's keeping you from who you're meant to be, how you're meant to shine. Honey, the prosperity that is waiting for you, that's soul aligned, and I know we all want that, it can be keeping you from that. So shatter the chains of the past. Invest 11 minutes into yourself, okay? And we're talking about time being the illusion and the falsehoods and the anchors. Honey, do not say, oh, I'll do that tomorrow. Tomorrow doesn't exist yet. Your tomorrow may go a little differently than you think it will. Now, in this present moment, decide to live in your divinity, decide to apply, decide to embody the messages and the wisdom given. Invest 11 minutes into yourself to shatter the chains of your past so that you are free to cross the threshold of the throne and embody and live in your divinity. So that is today's LG Talk. Once again, I am Goddess Iman, Light Guardian Goddess Iman. And I'll leave you with that. Like, share, subscribe, send this to somebody that you know needs it. Okay, don't keep the messages for yourself. Return to the present moment every time you need to, every breath that you need to. Maintain that commitment to yourself and to your power. Life is going to life. Things are going to happen, right? Remain devoted to you. Remain devoted to your divinity. Invest some time into yourself so that you can be well and thrive, okay? Perpetually. Go do that guided meditation. Invest 11 minutes. Shatter the chains of your past.
If you are new here, please subscribe, like, depending on what channel you're on, please follow, subscribe, like, whatever it is based on where you are. Yes, and make sure you share this with other people so that they're aware of all the wonderful information that the Cosmic Collective Consciousness is giving out to people. If you have someone that you know that is interested in this stuff, you have someone that you know that would really benefit from these messages, please forward this, please share the channel, the podcast, wherever you're listening to this or watching this. Please share. And don't forget to go to mysticcircletv.com.
They never told you, did they? No. The power in your hands, it glows. In the mirror, a stranger stares back, but it's you. It's you. The world lacks. Feel the pulse beneath your skin. The storm you hold, let it begin. Standing your God for